Okay. So, the fear of failure. The fear of failure. Okay. I want to talk to you about it. What is your biggest fear? Who would like to share what their biggest fear is? I'm not going to make you do it. Don't worry. But what is like I really hope that never happens? Does anyone have, or, yeah? Being attacked by clowns? I mean, it's likely. Um, genuinely, a fear of clowns is a big one for a lot of people. Yeah. Any is anybody else like? I mean, anything like? I can't get my words out. Is anyone scared of heights? Anyone have a problem with heights? Yeah. Does anyone have a problem with the ocean? Anyone have a problem? Because when you see some of the stuff that's in the ocean, it's like, I don't ever want to go near water again. Does anyone have a fear? Does anyone have? Here's a good one. Anyone have a fear of public speaking? As in, if someone asks you to say something in front of a group of people, so you don't want to do it. Well, no, that's what I mean. It's kind of stuff that you'd kind of like, that kind of theory type thing. Do you know what, right? I completely relate to that, Helen. I really do. Completely relate. Anyway, I did some research. Oh, sorry, Jonah. Yeah, jellyfish are nasty, aren't they? Nasty things. I did some research because I'm really sciencey. These are the top 10. Actually, the top one, it's 1 to 10 of the UK's biggest fears. So, like spiders. Anyone got a problem with spiders? Yeah, yeah. I get it. Yeah, I mean, do you know, I don't trust anything that's got more legs than me. I just don't trust it. You know, it's like, especially if you've got no hands and you're like, okay, so you've got like centaurs, I'll be all right with, but they don't exist, so it's fine. There you go. Public speaking, number 3. I thought that'd be on the top actually. Public speaking, it's normally is. But like snakes, that's supposed to be in closed spaces. It kind of got a little bit smushed there. Going to the dentist is apparently a Seriously? Somebody goes, open your mouth, and then they stick a drill in your face, right? Oh, I had to go to the dentist recently, right? And up until recently, I had quite sensitive teeth, and like when they're going with the claw and they're scraping away at your teeth, and there's that kind of weird feeling, and then and especially when there's 2 of them in your mouth, and I'm like, I don't know how many people need to be in my mouth. Like not last time, but the time before, they had to do an X-ray. Has anyone had an X-ray of their mouth done before, right? Yeah. And what really freaks me out, right, is they put the thing in your mouth and then they leave the room to do it, and I'm like, why am I still here? Why am I still in the room? This is not great. Anyway, flying. Has anyone got a problem with flying? Anyone got, you get into a plane? I haven't done flying for a long time. Yeah, we're okay because we've got Toz, haven't we? Oh, there you go. There's your clowns. Yeah, clowns are at number 9. Oh, I've been told you're more likely to be eaten by a shark than you would to die on an aeroplane, right? Yes, and I think it's more again likely that you'd be hit by a meteor, which is really strange because apparently meteors can hit us and we have no idea about them because they've just shriveled down so much. It's like, Anyway, and dogs at the bottom. So I don't know if there's like a mathematical climbing thing if you get a clown dog. I don't know if that kind of works. So I used to have, there's a guy in my last youth group who had a fear of clowns and a fear of moths. I did a quick Google search, found a picture of a moth dressed like a clown and sent it to him because I'm kind. Anyway, let's move on. So let's do some Bible. Look, there's Jesus. Not the real one, it's just a picture. Matthew 26:36. So Jesus in the Garden Gethsemane, okay? Then Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to them, sit here while I go over there and pray. He took Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee along with him, and he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. Going a little farther, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed, my Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet not as I will, but as you will. Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? He asked Peter. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away a second time and prayed, my Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done. And this strikes me every time I read it with the fact that Jesus felt human emotions. That, like the Bible says, that he emptied himself out of his godness in certain respects. That he limited himself, And he was feeling the same thing as you, because if I went up to one of you and said, would you mind dying on a cross, please? I'm trying not to be facetious here. You'd probably have a negative reaction to that, wouldn't you? You know, I don't want to do that. Thank you very much. And in the same way, Jesus had the same reaction because he knew the consequences. He knew the cost of what was coming. He was having a crisis. But what's amazing about that is, do you know what overcame? There were two things. Firstly, he wanted to obey his Father. Secondly, he was thinking about you. That's cool, isn't it? That's cool. You know, it wasn't just a case of, I've just got to do what Dad says. That wasn't it, right? Because that would be grim. There's two things going on here. He's thinking of you, and he's going, I'm going to be able to take away these guys in Bobby Tracy in 2024. I'm going to be able to take away their sin with this. That's cool. I mean, that is just awesomely cool. But he had a choice to make, right? Jesus even asks the Father several times in a very symbolic way, if this cup can be passed from me, please, can we do that? You know, because I think that's quite reasonable. You know, if you don't want to do something and somebody asks you to do something that's going to be like, you know, you have to go into a pit of clowns to pick some jewelry out or something. I'm just saying it, right? I don't know why. Maybe there's that. And you'll be like, no, thank you. I don't want him to go to a pit of clowns. I don't like clowns. Okay? But Jesus typifies something that we need to get. If we are followers of Christ, if we are disciples, learners, he prays something really, really important that we need to get our heads around. Yet not as I will, but as you will. Not as I will, as you will. Jesus says, I would rather do the will of the Father than do my own will, even at the cost of my own life. It's a big thing, right? Jesus didn't let fear overcome his mission, and it should never overcome ours either. What is our mission? Our mission is to surrender our lives and grow in him. Like I said last week when I was saying, you don't just cross the line and you're in. You have to keep going. It's about continually running the race, not just finishing the race and going, I can rest now, I can do what I like, I'm in heaven. That's not how it works at all. What if the opportunities that we are given aren't met with fear of failure? Now, it's one thing that Jesus didn't have at all. He did not have a fear of failure. He was probably scared. He was probably stressed because he knew the pain that was coming. But he didn't have a fear of failure because he knew what the outcome was going to be. He knew that the devil was going to be defeated. He overcomes, right? God is outside of time. Jesus is inside of time. Well, you know, God the Father is outside of time. Jesus is inside of time. I'm pretty sure that's theologically correct. Trying to get my head around that one. But I want to show you a little clip. I've been wanting to use this in a talk for at least 10 years, right? I love this film. I've seen it multiple times. Just to give you a little bit of context, who's seen Meet the Robinsons, Disney? Has anyone ever seen it? No, that's the Croods. No, Meet the Robinsons is a kid who goes into the future and meets a family who, I don't want to spoil it for you because there's like twists and stuff, but he goes into the future and meets this family of inventors and utter nutcases, right? And he's meeting for the first time and he's invented a gun that is supposed to squirt peanut butter and jelly onto sandwiches, right? So you just press it and it's supposed to go. Anyway, I think that's all the context that you need.
Okay, that should do it.
It's so exciting. Let her rip, Lewis.
Quickly, Uncle Joe can't hold on much longer.
Everybody ready?
Go, Carl. Oh no. No. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You failed!
And it was awesome. Exceptional.
Outstanding. I've seen better. From failing, you learn. From success, not so much.
If I gave up every time I failed, I never would have made the meatball cannon.
I never would have made my fireproof pants. Still working out the kinks.
Like my husband always says. I propose a toast to Lewis and his brilliant failure. May it lead to success in the future.
Yeah, I think it's a massive, massive thing, okay? That so many people will not do something because they are scared. You know, they will not step out of the boat. People just won't do stuff. So I've got a challenge, and I'm not doing this as self-help advice, right? I'm not trying to you should go for it because you never know. I don't want to say that. I want to make it real with what I'm trying to tell you tonight, okay? What fears are holding you back? And I want to, in specific areas, okay? Is it you have a fear of stepping out and making Jesus Lord of your life? Have you got the backbone to make a stand in a world that is completely antithetical, right, to who Jesus is? Because sometimes that's hard. Do you need to step out and do the scary thing of sharing your faith? Okay, because it can be scary because you're sticking, if you've made that decision, but you are maybe hiding the fact that you're a Christian. I mean, we know that the Bible says don't do that, but do you need to feel the fear and do it anyway? You know, like I've suggested various things like fishing, you know, throw something out there that might spark conversation. But there's that. The other one is stepping out into serving. Now, some of you are already serving, which is great. But is it a case of that you're just doing something, or have you realised, those of you who are doing stuff in the church already, that you actually have a ministry? And I'm being utterly serious about that. Because some people will look at things and go, hang on a sec, I'm just doing teas and coffees. How is that a ministry? Do you know how important the teas and coffees are? You kind of go, hang on, it's not like preaching or leading worship or anything like that. If you're thinking that way, you've missed the point, okay? You actually have a ministry. So, i.e., doing the laptop. I mean, I don't want to go into it like, blah, 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 but there is actually ministry in there. You know, it's a visual ministry. You know, taking photos. Some people don't kind of get that. You know, it's a ministry. Mixing the sound. So I'll throw someone in the deep end this week. So somebody who is one of the leaders of our church, so one person of the leadership team, has actually painted the foyer. Right? Now, if this was a business, we'd get the lower people, wouldn't we? We get not that we have lower people in the church, but we get the lower people to do that, wouldn't we? Right, I'll narrow it down. It's one of the elders, okay? Painted the foyer. That's cool, isn't it? That's a servant heart. That's somebody kind of going, okay, how can I serve my church? How can I love my church more? Yeah? If you fail, so what? In the clip, we're looking and we're seeing that failure leads to learning, right? Some of us don't want to step out because we have a fear of failure. I say that the only failure that there is quitting. Now, sometimes we need to stop things, sometimes we need a rest. I'm not talking about that. Following Jesus is a lifelong pursuit that starts at some point. You know? Here's the challenge. Make that decision to follow Jesus. Ask God, that's the first. No, make that decision to follow Jesus. Ask God to give you opportunities to share your faith and step out in serving. For those of you who are already doing those things, ask God to show you the next step. There will always be opportunities because you learn more by doing than you do by watching. Being a Christian is about being a participant, not a spectator. You're one of the footballers on the pitch. You're not one of the louts in the stands shouting.